Hello, I am Empress Lysa with my dear friend Karina Leday, and today we want to talk about shortcuts for creatives, intuitives, and healers. This is such an important conversation. It's so lovely to have you here, Karina, talking about creating shortcuts. Who doesn't love a shortcut?
I know. Who wants to go through like these painful long cycles every time we have a creative idea and we want to manifest it into reality. Super happy to be here. Thank you, Lysa.
Oh, thank you, Karina. Karina is an intuitive, a healer, and a channel. She's actually been channeling for over 16 years, and she's been in business for 5 years now. So she is someone that I've really looked to as I've come out into business myself. I've been a professional healer for 3 years, and I've been in business for 9 years now. So we are really super passionate about helping people like us, the healers and intuitives of the world, really find how to get those short tracks. And Karina is incredible, really working with the highly sensitive, those intuitive star seeds who really want to land their vision into reality. So what are some of your tips for really helping the intuitives to land their vision in reality? What's a creative short track?
Well, it's a blend, because I know this can be really sticky for a lot of intuitives. We get this beautiful divine download, we feel amazing, and then either we just buzz out and we forget to create it, or we get stuck on the practical things like how the format, the text stuff, like anything that's practical and feels a bit boring compared to the excitement energy, right? So one shortcut is to find a balance between staying connected to your vision, connecting in with it energetically every day, so that you feel that energy and you can infuse it into what you create, and taking one step. So creating a plan, like a practical plan, what you need to do every week or every day until you launch your thing, or until you manifest whatever it is, if it's like a house or writing a book or creating a program, and then taking one step at a time and really enjoying the moment, so that we're not just, dreaming of that moment when we finally create, because if it's a big vision, it may take years. So I think it's kind of a shame to just be waiting. It's kind of like working hard all year just for vacation at the end of the year. And I think we're meant to enjoy every moment. So finding the balance between taking one step at a time, enjoying that one step, and enjoying actually creating something beautiful that you feel called to create, and tapping into the energy of the vision, because the vision is like a living, breathing entity, right? It's going to give you information. When you tune in, you're going to receive guidance. It's going to help you to be more in the flow and have fun creating too, right? So
I think this is why I admire you so much, because everything that you do is so joyful. And I think in this modern day world, that masculine energy of doing and creating is way more highly valued than that feminine aspect of being receptive and tuning in. And I really love you talking about the balance, because I've really seen one of the big roadblocks for beautiful, highly sensitive intuitives and creatives is that they trust and know that they're going to always get these beautiful divine downloads. But when they haven't been able to have the skills or the patience or the tuning in or the connection or the one step at a time focus, then that vision kind of can fade away. And what can happen is that, one, we want to block getting any more ideas, which is not actually healthy for us living channels. This is our purpose, is to bring these beautiful ideas into reality. But it can also lead to kind of some difficulties with self-trust and some difficulties with self-worth, that we don't really feel worthy of these divine downloads, and that we can hold harsh judgment against ourselves. Hey, when we've been given a beautiful divine download, say a year ago, and we actually weren't able to bring that into reality, what would you say to someone who's going through that right now, Karina?
That's such an important question, because that is exactly what happens, right? We get a download, we don't really create it, and then we feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or I'm not good at the physical manifestation. I'll just play in my kind of my other dimension, right? And then we start to distrust ourselves, and we think we can't do it, or that we don't have the qualities. So for me, trusting myself has a lot to do with practice. Like taking one step at a time, and then And then having the right support around you, because honestly, you know this, right? I don't really create anything on my own, because I would get like so down every time things aren't flowing. I'm not doing the work, which is going to happen lots of times. And the times when we're being asked to stop and just listen and not actually do anything, which can be really scary, right? Because we're not doing anything. How am I going to move forward, right? So having the right support and to keep going is that inner commitment. And when you tune into your vision, you're going to want to take another step. Mm-hmm. And then the trusting and surrendering, and a lot to do with that kind of feminine, flowy doing, but then also trusting that it's time to not do. Kind of like when you give birth, right? There's a time to do, and there's a time to just let things be done kind of through you. And for me, that really is built through practice. So, and releasing any like old stories around that you can't, because as far as I'm concerned, if you receive the download, it's for you. And if your heart goes, oh, then it's for you, right? And then whatever you need to do to develop or hone in on or learn to trust qualities within yourself, that is the work. But it comes through you, it's for you, right? Then you choose to, do it or not because of the timing or whatever. But it's really to honor that, and to honor that if you've been given this, it's because it's for you and you have exactly what it needs to do it. But you're going to have to grow, right? Because that's what we have to do every time.
Yeah, we're being asked to grow. I think there was a stage in my life, and working on my third book right now, I'm just like in that creative process of feeling the blocks and feeling the resistance. And I really, really love how much you're inviting us to receive from the vision, to be able to tune in and to sense and perceive how that can guide us in the process. But I think what always saves me, and you're just so reassuring and comforting to listen to, this is why I adore you, Karina, that it's a process of becoming. That sometimes we think that the goal and objective is the third book or the first book or the first program or the 13th program. And the reality is that our creations are actually cultivating and refining us. And that's why I love that you are using the creative process as a practice, that we want to gauge its success based on the outcome. And that's not actually where the gold is. The gold is in the process of actually who we need to allow ourselves to become in order to create and execute that vision into reality solidly. So, I'm just like so grateful for your ability to talk into this so wisely and so gently, because we really can be harsh and critical on ourselves, can't we, as highly sensitives, and we're just so sensitive. But it's like we go, okay, I'm going to create a healing program, but then we want to put like this brutal masculine world-based dogma on, you have to have that done in 6 weeks, and here are your deadlines, and no lunch for you today, you need to keep going. And I just go, that's so against our nature. And nature is our high sensitivity, and that's where our gold is. That's really where the value is that we're creating. So if we can't honor our nature in that process, then we have no chance of actually bringing beautiful creations into the world. Hey, honey.
No, totally. Thank you. And it's true. We still have that kind of, it has to be like this. But the thing is structure, and I think you're really amazing in that, because you're super structured, but it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be hard, and we don't have to put pressure on ourselves. Structure is like just giving yourself the container you need in order to actually create what you're here to create. But you are allowed to take breaks. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to like go dancing in between, or lie in the grass, or play with your horses, right, Lysa? And that's going to enhance the whole process, right? Because, and that's the thing, is like we think there's a goal, but actually there's just growth and stretching. And we can be really, when we're kind to ourselves, it's just such a different experience, because I see a lot of that pushing, and it's just, I mean, of course we can be really successful doing that, but I find it really, it's such a violent way to treat ourselves, right? And we wouldn't do it to someone else. We're just that hard on ourselves, right?
So true. So true.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to think about. I love your messaging to these beautiful creatives and intuitives. And you've been a professional healer for how many years now, beautiful?
Professionally, I'm on my 5th year now.
And I go, when I first emerged, I remember really looking to you. And I guess within this conversation of really offering these, shortcuts for healers and intuitives, I guess I really felt that stirring in my heart to really talk to the empaths and people who are highly sensitive and people who have that beautiful emotionality to their nature inherently, and just talk a little bit about some really amazing shortcuts for them as well. Because what I really love when I think about empaths and healers is that what we want to create are actually emotional outcomes for people. So a lot of intuitives kind of have this creative nature, and a lot of empaths are really focused on helping people. That's kind of the thing that really lights up their souls. And so I'm like, what is a really powerful short track that we can offer for these beautiful empaths and natural healers of the world? That there's so many ways that we can affect change. And just like you were talking before, there's these masculine model of doing, and then there's the feminine model of being. And you and I are huge supporters of this balanced kind of harmonious synergy where you shift into masculine, then you're perceptive as to when you need to lean back into the feminine. And I love how much you enjoy your life in the process. I always take a leaf out of your book. I had a tea party with my daughter today out on the grass, and it just it feeds my soul. Hey, it's so nourishing. But what has been your experience in regards to helping people who have that strong sense of emotionality, that are empaths or healers that really want to help people? Like, what's a short track that you could suggest for them, hun?
It's such a good question, because it can be hard to not get sucked into your emotions and just let them drain you and kind of disappear into that and still show up, right? And be sensitive. So well, for me, a lot of that to do, like anything connected to being an empath and feeling deeply and helping others, for me, one of the key things has been to like really clear my energy, and to have strong boundaries, not shutting people out, but honoring my own space, because that has helped me to stay really present. Grounding myself a lot as well, because I tend to disconnect when it's, it gets a bit heavy and painful. I feel myself disconnecting because it's too heavy, or I get overwhelmed. So any of those responses, because when I clear my energy and I really show up fully, I know what's mine and what isn't mine, and I can help in a more efficient way, and it's not draining me. And that comes back to the being as well, right? It's when you feel the energy coming up through the earth and it fills you, and you're like radiating out love. You're not going into people trying to save them and carry them on your back, but you're just radiating out these qualities so they can feel it and they can rise up and meet you there as like equals, instead of us like doing the whole I'm saving you, you're a victim kind of thing, or the other way around, because that's a lot of the scenarios we've been playing out and the patterns that we have, right? So that's been a really key element for me and so helpful. Like, it's quite easy, like it's not a complicated practice, but it's definitely a practice, because I can feel myself going back into the old ways if I don't pay attention.
Well, and you're so right that because empaths are so their superpower is the discernment of needs. And so they can really get locked in this rescuing pattern where they are always pulling someone up from beneath them. And this can actually be really destructive for our own perception of ourselves as well, because our own weak areas kind of don't get any of our attention because we're too aware of the needs of those that we perceive as being below us or more needy or more in a state of requiring help. And, I totally agree with everything that you say. You're so good at energy clearing and you're so good at being present that, in my experience, I really concur. It really is the presence that we bring to a situation, that when we can honor that people are exactly where they're meant to be and that the circumstances that they're in are refining and cultivating their soul truth, we can really just sit back from a place of awe and witnessing, where we can acknowledge that there's something really powerful happening. And I think when we've been exposed to a lot of trauma or a lot of suffering, that we do see our own pain reflected back to us in other people. And so there's this a tendency to want to rescue other people from our own pain, which is this knee-jerk reaction, when in reality, our pain cultivated our soul into our presence today. And my short track suggestion for anyone who is a highly sensitive, emotional empath or a natural healer, that the more we can actually give to ourselves what we want to the whole world, we're actually creating internally an energy field that anyone else can perceive. That if I want people to feel safe in the world, I support myself to feel safe in the world. If I want people to know that they can prosper on their soul purpose, I actually give that to myself. And it's so difficult for empaths to actually place their own needs first and to actually invest their love and their care and their discernment into themselves, because I think it's selfish. But the reality is that by doing that, the presence that we're cultivating offers this, I guess I call it compassionate healing presence, where we can sit in a place of trust that our journey has been perfect for us, and likewise transplant that over to whomever we're with, whether we're actively involved in serving them on a client basis or whether it's a friend or a family member, that we can just witness and trust that where they are is so perfect for them. That the short track is, if we can create within ourselves what we want for everyone else, then every other empath and person who can emotionally discern, which is the whole of humanity in my mind, but some of them have deactivated that capacity, but for everyone else who is still activated and capable of emotionally discerning, they'll actually sense and feel your trust in the process, your capacity to honor them in their truth and not see them as above or below, but to see us all as souls evolving and growing together. And I go, that's a short track, when we don't feel that compulsion to rescue anymore, because that is a lot of work and we've all done it. And it's not actually supportive for us or them. So gosh, it's so good to kind of get together. This is why I love you so much, Karina Ledet, because your insight into how creatives and highly sensitives and intuitives can actually create in this world. You're living it and embodying it, and it's just so inspiring for me. And I really hope that these short tracks that we've offered today are really able to serve and support the intuitives and the healers and the starseeds and the creatives who are out there, because if there's something that you're wanting to do, there'll be someone else out there who has done it. And we're such trailblazers. We wanted to get together and really share some of these short tracks so that you can progress further, faster, easier, and have a much more enjoyable, magical time in the process. So huge thank you to Karina for spending time with us and allowing this soul dive conversation to happen today. If you would like to check out, she has our wonderful new masterclass coming out. Would you like to share a little bit about your masterclass, Karina?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. I love you too, Lysa. This is so helpful and it's so great, because it's like every piece helps us to have like a bigger picture of what we're doing and seeing what it is, what we're actually doing. And I found that, and like you said, we need to embody something in order to actually teach it and share it, which is a great thing for us too, because then we have to actually do it, don't we?
Yeah.
For ourselves.
Yeah.
So my masterclass, it's on, how to go from divine download, that beautiful inspiration, whether it's a program or a book or a house or a relationship or anything, into physical reality, as in manifesting here. Can be money, it can be anything really. And it's going to take place on June 20th. In time for the summer or winter solstice as well, because I want it to be like a preparation so that we can move through that portal with much more clarity and a stronger commitment to ourselves and our path. And you can find out more on my website. I'll leave a link below wherever this will be shown. And how about you, Lysa? Please share about your webinar that you're doing on the full moon. I thought that was really perfect timing.
Full moon, the Empath Awakening webinar is all about the stages of development for an empath and how you can use your natural gift to actually develop healing presence. So that's happening on the 9th of June, very soon. So there'll be details below. Thank you so much for today. We hope you've enjoyed this. Please comment below and tell us what you love the most from this conversation. Mwah, big love to you all.
Thank you. Bye.